Happy Well Women Wednesday. It's Wednesday, yes. Happy Well Women Wednesday. I am having this conversation for the second week in a row, carpool edition. So this is the car edition of Well Women Wednesday. I am here in my daughter's school's parking lot, waiting for her to get out of her volleyball game. I was here for a volleyball game, and she's now watching the varsity team play, and I am doing what I'm doing. So I am here to have this Well Women Wednesday carpool edition conversation again. We are still in the third quarter of the year, so we are still talking marketing and branding, all things marketing and branding, and of course all things Black women and Black women-owned business. So really excited for today's conversation. We are talking today to one of our members, Chardee Scott, who is the CEO of Pinch Design Co. And they are doing some amazing things. She's amazing. She was our expert today in our Ask an Expert email that went out today. Really excited about all the info that she shared, and she was answering questions that our members had asked. So that's the really exciting thing about the way in which we do this work. We do this work in a way that is responsive to Black women, and to what Black women business owners need. So we asked our members earlier this quarter, what are some of your marketing questions? You get to ask an expert, what are some of your marketing questions? And we were able to ask multiple marketing and branding experts for answers to some of these questions, and Chardee answered some of those questions for us, and it shows up in our email today that went out to our subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. It's simple, just your name and your email. You can click the link in our bio to subscribe as just a member of our community to receive emails from us. We typically send out something about once a week. It's always got resources. It's always got something to love up on you. Always something that promotes the building of community and ways in which we are driving community through our events, through conversations we're hosting, things like that. So if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to our mailing list so that you can know about all the things that we're doing and all the information that we're putting out there and the resources that we put out that sometimes you just miss because it's a lot of stuff. And so we curate resources and we share those, and that is so key because we don't want you to miss those opportunities to get free money or to get free support, or even support that you didn't know you needed, right? Sometimes it's things you didn't even realize you needed, but then you see an opportunity and you can take advantage of it. So really excited for today's conversation, and I get to talk to Chardee right now. So I'm going to welcome her in.
Hi.
Hey, Chardee, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. This is Car Chronicles. We got our daughter is in volleyball, and so her games always seem to fall on my Well Women Wednesdays these days. And so Car Chronicles it is. I don't have my gorgeous green backdrop behind me this week, but
No problem.
this is what it looks like today. This is life. I'm lifing out here. So it's good to see you. I'm loving the red lip.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, for sharing your knowledge this week in our mailer our email that we sent out. Those questions, I don't know if the ladies shared with you. Those were questions that members were asking, and so that's really exciting that we were able to tap right into this network to get some of those questions answered for people. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Very timely. I get asked those questions all the time, with consulting or starting new projects. So I'm happy to inform the masses.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. So tell us a little more about who you are, and tell us about your business. You'll do it much better than I ever could. And then I'll jump into some questions for you.
Okay, perfect. Well, my name is Chardee Scott, and I am the lead designer, creative director of Pinch Design Co. I'm a mom of a 5-year-old little girl. I'm also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, so hence
Oh,
the lip. And I truly love all things art. I think from an early age, I really enjoyed art. I used to paint and draw. I went to Carver Center for Arts and Technology, and that's where I kind of got exposed to multimedia design. So that's where my passion for graphic design kind of started to kick in. And I pivoted in college to graphic design fully. And since then, I was freelancing because it was really, really hard to get a job right out of college. They always say go to college and you're going to find your dream job. I thought
Mhm.
that was going to be the case, and it was not. By that time, technology kind of picked up, and graphic design became really saturated. And so
Mhm.
I kind of freelancing, and I was like, well, I really like what I'm doing, but do I want to change it? Like, because I had to make a living out here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but something in me kept saying, no, just keep going, keep going. And so I was like, well, if I can't find a job, I'll just start my own business. And I never truly
Mhm.
saw myself as like an entrepreneur and everything, but God had another plan. And so
Yeah.
I started Pinch in 2016, and since
Okay.
then, we've worked with a whole host of creatives, entrepreneurs. We've even had a celebrity couple,
Oh,
Wendy
nice.
O'Neill. We did her brand,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
her
Okay. Okay.
and it's really been an honor and a pleasure to help so many other people kind of bring their dreams and businesses to fruition. And I take great pride in what I do and what I'm able to create for our clients.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And you've worked with Brittany Harris on Liberated Love Notes.
yes, we worked with her on her brand and created her websites and her Liberated Love Note cards. We've also worked with Gemma and the Hue Cafe. We created their
Okay.
site and a lot of their branding collateral for the restaurant. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, we've worked with a couple of people
Nice.
inside the well.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's dope. That's awesome. And I'm a fan of your work then. I didn't even know it was your work.
I'm glad my
Yes,
reputation
yes,
superseded me.
yes, yes, absolutely. And I have definitely been a fan of it. I love all of the ones you've named. I'm like actually so I mean I knew Brittany had posted today, and I'm like, oh, this is who she worked with, and I've like been fangirling over all of her, like the intentionality in her design is, I've loved. But then the others that you just named, I'm also familiar with, and I'm like, oh yeah, 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 I do. I love their branding as well. So you are doing the thing, sis.
Thank you, thank you.
So what's your why? You're in this marketing branding space. I'm sure it's a question that you probably ask in one way or another so that you can capture the spirit of, the person connected to that brand. So what's yours? What's your why?
So why do I like create or
So yeah, your why for like why you're in this space.
oh I guess I would say that I've always been a helper by nature. Like I like helping friends, family. I tend to go above and beyond for anybody that's really in my life, and it's kind of transitioned into like my life's work too. So not only
Mm-hmm.
help my clients kind of build their business, visually, and kind of get the foundation for whatever they're trying to create. I also am the multimedia manager with the NAACP. And so
Okay.
I'm using my actual, design talents there too to further
Yeah.
push the Black agenda and really advocate for change, policy change, inside this world. And so, and
Yes.
then also with Delta, I still care. I'm helping there. So just by nature, I think that I'm using the God given talent that I have for art to kind of
Mm-hmm.
all components of my life, I think. So I would say that's
Okay.
why, to help others visually.
Nice. Visually, to help others visually. So totally off script. Where did you pledge? What's your number? Give me all this stuff.
I pledged at Bowie State University, fall 10, 17. It was 18 on our
Okay.
time. And
Okay.
it's been, we will celebrate, what is it, 11, 12 years in November. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's been so long.
It's been so long. And y'all babies, my line turned 20 this year.
Ooh, yeah, I can't wait. When we turned 10 during the pandemic. So it was so,
Okay.
and like we did like a
Yeah.
little and wine and everything like that. But I'm hoping that me and my line sisters can celebrate big for the 20.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
for
turned
15.
20.
We
We have not had a celebration officially, although we all were together a few weeks ago because our one line sister is finally having a baby after trials and tribulations, and her mom died this year, and she found out she was pregnant the day her mother passed away. So all 9 of us made it to the baby shower. So we haven't done any like celebrating of our line, but we were all together, which was
And
nice.
that is really the sisterhood that comes together, the networking, like that's what it's really all about. Like I've met some amazing people, and like my line sisters have really become my family. Like I didn't have any sisters. Like I have a younger brother. So
Hmm.
getting 17 sisters has just been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and I'm an only child. Well, I have a younger sister, but she's 20 years younger than me. So I
Like
grew
an
up
only
by
child.
myself. Yeah, like she could be my child. I grew up by myself, and but I went to an all girls school. I went to Western High School. Shout out to the Devs, in Baltimore, and I like that's my first sorority, I will say. But like that is really where it was so clear to me like what it meant to be in community with women, but also what having a community of women meant to me.
Yeah, and
For sure.
it's been interesting for me because I think naturally I'm kind of like to myself, like since I do like a lot of computer work, I'm like stationary, I'm behind my computer.
Hmm.
I'm not really, in the forefront of things.
Hmm.
And so having like being in community, like with my line sisters, or even joining the well, that was a big step for me too, because I was like, I really need to kind of get out there. I need to network.
Hmm.
Pinch is doing good, but it could always be doing better. Like I could be
Yep.
connecting and helping other women, other business owners too. And so I was like, Brittany had invited me to your happy hour, and I was so glad that she did, because like being around everybody and meeting some other Black female entrepreneurs was like a really great experience. Like I think her name, I can't think of her name, but she has the business Around the Way Parchment. And I
Oh
always
yeah,
wanted this
Crystal.
art line. And when I met her, I thought,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, she's doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, Crystal, she's so dope. And Crystal was coming to like events well before she had a business. She would just
Mm,
come and she was just like in community with us. She was working on like her blog, but she wasn't like monetizing it at that
mm,
point. So it wasn't like truly her business. And then she actually went through our early entrepreneur growth program and shifted her whole business model, being asked some of those questions about clarity about like your why, right? Or like what are the pillars you're standing on? So that is my next question. The Well has 5 pillars: community, collaboration, confidence, capital, and celebration are the things that we build everything around. So when we're doing anything, any event, anything around membership, it's always around those 5 pillars. You might not have 5 that you can call out that simply, but if you thought about it for a second, what would you say are your brand's pillars?
I would say my brand's pillars are intentionality. I try to be really intentional and thoughtful when I'm creating for my clients. I would also say simplicity, like that's in our tagline. And I would say education. I try
Mm-hmm.
to educate my clients on why certain things will go and work together, why certain things won't. I don't want to just tell my client like no, like or
Mm-hmm.
no, that's ugly, or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of inform them as to why this is not going to help your business, present well, or
Mm-hmm.
longevity for like this might be nice now, but it's not going to work, in a
Yep.
year or two. And so
Yep.
I think those are those three, I think I would say, is what we try to stand on when we are working with our clients and actually building our business too.
Yeah. And then, so along that vein, what would you say is like, you wish your clients knew to do or knew to know before they came to you that like makes it possible for you to do what you do well? What do they need to know about themselves or their brand or their business before they come to you and want to make visuals around it?
One, I think that they have to truly be committed to the process. I think a lot of times, you know, you kind of want to start a business. A lot of times now, some people want to start businesses just because, like, oh, I should start a business, or maybe they're not happy with their job and they're just like, oh, I just want to start this business. But then once they kind of, you know, talk to me or talk to somebody else, and they're kind of like, oh, it's a lot that kind of goes into this. It's a lot of that I have to manage on my own before I can maybe delegate to others. I wish that they were, that they know that they're committed to this process. And then ask all the questions, or ask before you start. Like, it's okay to kind of think about what you want in your business or how you want things to kind of go. But ask first, because if you start kind of setting up everything and then maybe you talk to a professional about it, you might have to undo some things. And some people don't like to do what they've spent maybe months or years, you know, thinking up or jotting down. And then the flexibility with that. So
Yeah.
those three things I would say kind of come with, like, before you come to me, make sure you're flexible, make sure you're committed to the process, and make sure you have some questions that we can answer for you. And then a lot of times just kind of share. So it's not, if they weren't working with me, then I would suggest that for somebody else, like if they're using a different designer. But for me, I try to educate as I'm kind of talking to you. We've kind of developed a questionnaire for our clients when we first start. And so it gets all the information from them, like what they've been thinking about, like their why do they want to start the business? What are they hoping to gain? Like their target audience. Do they already have like a sketch in mind as far as like what they want it to look like visually? So we ask questions too up front to kind of pull information out. But a lot of times they kind of don't know until they see.
Yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
try to be visual learners. So so on our end, we're flexible. Like we're like, okay, you know, maybe they haven't worked with anybody before and they really don't know what kind of questions to bring to the table. So we try to be flexible with our clients and understanding of where they are in this process too.
So like what's your biggest like pet peeve? This grinds my gears in like working with a client. And I'm asking because for two reasons. One, the marketing, the branding stuff is the, like, I call it the sexy piece, right? Like that's the part everybody's excited to do in their business, to figure out the colors and what it looks like and, you know, all of that. And so much more goes into those decisions than like what just looks good, right? But I know a lot of people start from that place, or I won't even say start from, I think people who've been in business for a while sometimes still sit in that space of like, it's sexy and so you're excited to do it. But and then the other piece is that I know in my experience sometimes of working with people in the marketing brand space, and maybe I know I was like driving them crazy. I'm like, oh, they're artists and they're sensitive about their ish, like, you know, because I'm pushing and I'm like, no, that's not quite it, or that. So what are some of your like your pet peeves or ways that people who have businesses who are working with graphic designers, marketing brand, like artists in that space, in that right, can do to like have a successful partnership?
Oh, there's been some stories I could tell.
Yeah, tell us one. Like what drives you crazy and what would make the difference?
Working backwards, I think kind of it hits home at the moment. People come to me and they'll be like, oh, like I want a website. And I'll be like, okay, you know, that's fine. We do websites. Do you have a logo? No. I'm like, why are you gonna have a website? What about colors? You got brand colors? No, I don't have none of that. So I want I'm like, I have a name, and I'm like, you can't do that. Like, it doesn't work like that. Um,
Right.
People need a name to go to the website. Like, and your website isn't going to go on social media. Like, people will click it, but you're going to have to
Hmm.
meet other visual components before you get to the website part.
Right.
And so sometimes that can be a little frustrating because, maybe they were talking to somebody and their friend said, "Hey, you should get a website," and then they just said, "Okay, boom, I got a website."
Hmm.
What else? Oh, lack of communication. Like if we're sending, like if you have a time sensitive project, like we'll have clients, we're like, "Oh, I need this done in like 2, 3 months," and I'm like, "Okay."
Uh-huh.
I told them early on, I'm like, they always ask for a timeline. Like, you have a time.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do this? And I'm like,
Right.
I understand, but it really depends on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have all your ducks in a row, then I can move as quickly as you need me to.
Hmm.
If you don't, then you have to understand how that's going to hinder the speediness of said project. So like
Yeah.
I'll have clients who are like, okay, well, I have like a 2, 3 month deadline, but they don't have any brand pictures and they haven't written any content for their website. And
Hmm.
when I send them content
That's
for
me. That's me. I've been writing content for this one website redesign for a whole entire year.
that's
I paid her in full for the site a year ago.
mm.
And she just been waiting on me to write the stuff.
And I have a lot of clients like that too. I had to start putting them on pause, and I like, well, whenever you're ready, we're here to pick it back.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I'm somebody laughing at me, but I am serious. It has been maybe more than a year, actually. We started last July, I think, and I was just like, okay, like, and I know what I want from what I want it to be at the end of the day. That copywriting piece.
And I
Whew.
think people really underestimate what goes into trying to sell and engage clients, to convert that engagement into sales when they're coming on your website or on social media. And
It is
so,
highly underestimated. And I tried the model of paying somebody to write copy for one site. It doesn't work for me. Like I do need to like write my own words,
mhm,
like
just like
articulate
have
things
someone.
yourself. Yeah, to like be able for it to be able to transfer. So okay, so your client's not committing to the process and
Mhm.
dragging the thing out.
And then
So
also,
so what do you
or
do with that client? When you say you
it
put
can be
them on
a
the
couple
shelf,
of
do
things.
you put them in timeout?
I try to be encouraging. Like I'm not a writer by nature. My friends can tell you this. I have them check everything. And so I try to kind of nudge them along. Like when we first start out with stuff, I say like, "Hey, I know you're doing this website. Start now. Start now. We haven't even did the questionnaire yet. Start now on the website piece. Kind of think of like like your bio, like small things that you can do in like chunks to kind of prepare yourself for the website while we are creating all the branding stuff. That way, by the time I'm actually creating the website mockup, you're not scrambling trying to get content together, because then that's going to put you behind.
Yeah.
And then also, clients that aren't detailed enough, like if I send you a concept and you're like, "Oh, I don't like it," that kind of doesn't help me because I could literally pull 1,000 colors, I could pull 1,000 fonts, but if you don't give me any direction, then I
Yeah.
would just be picking forever. We would never get out of the revision.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that could kind of be a
So
little
instead
frustrating.
of them doing that, what would be helpful so that it moves so that they get to something that they love?
I always have them go on Google. Google is your best friend. Pinterest, best friend. Anything best friend that is going to help you try to kind of piece together what you see in your mind. I've had people try to sketch things out. They've sent me the craziest sketches, but somehow I can try to work with it
Right. You can see the vision
to
in
get the
it.
idea
Yeah.
that they want. So anything that will, like, if you like, oh, I need this star and this word font. You might hear my daughter.
Oh no, that's
um,
great. Listen, last week we had a whole baby in the camera the whole time, and he was not happy about his mother not giving him her undivided attention. So We're good.
We try to like ask questions like, well, what don't you like? So like, okay, you told
Mhm.
me no, you don't like it. So okay, so what don't you like specifically? Is it the color? Is it the font? What kind of font would you like? You know, instead of that, we
Mhm.
try to use big names, like names that people recognize. So like Target, Nike, Barbie.
Mhm.
Try to
Mhm.
age because those are all
Mhm.
different, you know, brands.
Mhm.
They all have
Mhm.
different fonts, and so I try to use bigger names to try to get them to visually tell me what they
Yep.
like.
Yep.
And normally it kind of works. Like normally we
Yeah.
can kind of get somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had to fire a client?
Yes.
If so, like what? Why? What went wrong?
Yes. I did have to terminate maybe like 2 or 3 clients. We've been in
Okay.
business for 6 years, so it hasn't been that many. Um, when we first started, we were very excited. It was I think it was like a hair makeup kind of brand, and we
Mhm.
put like a really nice logo. Like I love the logo
Mhm.
for the brand. It was really clean, had a little script in there. Oh, it was beautiful.
Mhm.
But then when we got to the website part, she kept saying, "No, I don't like this. It it looks boring. It looks like." And I was like, "Well, what about it looks boring? You know,
Mhm.
we already kind of did the mock-up process. She said that
Mhm.
that was good. Like she even sent me websites that she liked and kind of explained
Mhm.
what features from the website that she
Mhm.
liked so that we tried to incorporate it into hers. And so I was like, well, I feel like I'm kind of giving you everything that you're asking me for, but you still don't like it. And
Mhm.
I'm really trying, like, I want you to like it. Like, but again, by nature, I'm a people pleaser. And so
Mhm.
I didn't want to give up on the brand.
Mhm.
I felt like I had worked really hard with it. And I was like, I wanted to see it
Yeah. Yeah.
grow. And I just could not visually. And then she kind of started talking to me in a way that just was not respectful.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's when I had to draw the line. I said, okay,
Yeah.
no, I know that it cannot possibly be me, but maybe it is me. But either way, our business relationship is really starting to break down, and we can't continue like this.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was funny because once we closed, like, terminated the project and everything like that, I went to her website and it was completely different than what we had even discussed, any of the
Huh.
examples that she had sent me. And so
Huh.
I was like, oh, that is so interesting that you went this particular
That
route
is
because we could have
interesting.
did that, but you never
Right.
told me that.
Right. Yeah, that is really interesting. And I mean, I think like goes back to the idea of, so I was talking a couple weeks ago to Asia McDaniels, and we were talking about like people like being like knowing themselves, like doing a self-discovery process too, because I think a lot of like what comes out in, as you are branding your business, it's a lot of you in there. It's a lot of, sort of you comes out of it. And so like when you are somewhat unclear or you're vacillating either in yourself, like things around yourself, or your market, right? Like sometimes, like, I don't know if you asked this question or if you know that, like, how many of your clients have done like some real like market analysis before they come to you to even understand like what's making the people that they're trying to get to notice them tick and makes them like, and I don't even mean market analysis in a really like high tech sexy way. I mean like asking questions just on their social media, like which of these colors makes you feel energized, which of these taglines makes you feel like you can trust me or gives you a sense of who we are or whatever. I don't think that for whatever reason, if it's like not wanting to like hear the truth or being scared to like put your baby out there and somebody say it's ugly, which I think we've all been there, right? That people don't do a lot of social listening before they go and create, a brand, like, and then I think it causes confusion.
I agree. I don't think that they do. And I think because a lot of people that I work with, they are first time business owners. There have been a few that have like been established businesses and they are rebranding, but majority of the time they are fresh in the game and they really have no clue. And I'm kind of like the first professional that they've really like spoke with and worked with. And so I always let my clients know like I'm on the brand side of this. I cannot help you as far as like marketing. Like I can give you some tips and tricks, but I'm not a subject matter expert. I can't say, oh, post on Instagram at 3 o'clock and you're going to get all this
Right.
engagement, or use this hashtag to drive
Yeah.
engagement.
Yeah.
So I always tell them
That's
like,
a great point. I think that's so like let's just pause there for a second just because, we lump together like marketing and branding and they support and they feed each other, but they are not the same, right? They, sort of yeah, like one feeds the other for sure, but and they both are both art and science.
no, and they fluctuate so much. And then we might ask some marketing questions just to figure out what type of demographic we should kind of cater towards. So like we might ask like age range, or maybe gender, um, for like color reasons, or font reasons. Like if we have a client that's more masculine, they might want a strong
Mhm.
older font sometimes. So we do ask those questions, but it's really up to our clients to hone in on the marketing piece. Um, once they've kind of like established, or even before, like how you're saying, like they should do some type of like survey, or start setting up their social media accounts for like their businesses and stuff. And so they haven't even gotten there. Um,
Yeah.
I always say Google. Google can be, there's a lot of things in
For the
Google. So
second time, y'all, she likes Google. She's like,
I
use it.
do. It can be a friend in need. Okay. You
Yes.
have to kind of sift out, because I mean, obviously people post stuff all the time and it may not necessarily be right, but you have to do your homework. If you're going to do your homework about anything else that you do in your life, doctors, schools, churches, any other thing that you're going to go to Google for, go for branding too, and just kind of look around and kind of see, or use the hashtags on social media or online to see what kind of comes up, um,
Yep.
and kind of go from there. And if you find, and then there are people that have like free consultations that you can kind of talk to an expert about
Yeah.
it, just to kind of pick their brain. And if you don't feel comfortable with what they're saying, or you need another second opinion, then find somebody else who might have a free one. You don't have to pay, all this money for all these different, subject
Yeah.
matter experts before you even start the business.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a great point. I mean, not a lot of people are like monetizing everything at this point. They won't even do like 15 minutes with you without you paying something, which, it's kind of, I have my thoughts on that. I won't go into it. People have their ways, um, I do feel like, there is some value in like being able to, build some degree of relationship and like understanding for like, what you can offer to someone, or even if you want to take on the type of project that they're looking for. So one of the questions that I haven't asked you yet, so I'm going to ask you two more questions. One is, what's your superpower? We've all got one, and while we are definitely about Black women taking their capes off, we still have some superpower that we can like harness and leverage as it serves us and others. So what's yours?
Hmm. I don't know. I guess I would say my ability to multitask, maybe. Like I'm juggling a lot these days. I have a full time, 9 to 5 job with the NAACP. I'm a full time business owner, a full time mom. She's in activities now. I'm still running and
Wow.
managing my house, taking care of
Hmm.
my family. And I got to do it all in 24 hours.
Whew, I'm tired listening to you.
I'm tired. Just
Yes.
just last night, I actually had to take my daughter to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
We started saying that she couldn't breathe. She has like asthma and she was wheezing.
Okay.
And so I had to,
That's so
to the hospital.
scary.
It was so scary.
Well, sounds today like she got all her breath because she was just.
She got it now. She back,
Oh,
because
good,
I've been
good,
deprived. I've been doing round the
good.
clock nebulizer treatments every 4 hours. So I was getting up all
Wow.
night, and
Wow.
so I still had, I had client work I had to do. I had to, clean up, and here I am on the call with you.
Right. I'm like,
And
and looking beautiful, looking flawless. So,
so I
you're
mean,
doing something right.
I multitask. I be juggling. I'm
But
juggling.
I will say, easy on that. Careful with it. Be good to yourself. As my grandmother says, be good to yourself, because we take on and do so much and we wear ourselves out and nobody sees us going under. And so be good to yourself. Make
No,
sure
I'm
that
working on the
that
balance.
superpower serves you and not just the other way around.
I know I'm working on the balance now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
been very something that I've been intentional about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more of this year. Finding the balance between work and family and motherhood.
Yeah. Well, here's my thought on balance. Not that you asked,
But
but
share. Why not?
my thought on balance is that we have often thought of balance of as all things kind of being equal, right? Or all things kind of lining up at some point. They don't ever all line up. And balance to me is about juggling. So juggling means that all balls are in the air, but when you juggle something, the balls drop at some point.
Mhm.
And balance to me is about not dropping the same ball all the time. All the
Okay.
different balls drop. They get their chance to drop. Not the same ball can't drop every time. And that is really what balance is. That's what I think of as balance. So
No,
I
I
started,
agree.
who am I? Is my husband getting slighted this week? Well, he can't get slighted next week. Thinking about all of that, that is the balance. But yes, making sure that superpower serves you too, because it's not here just for everybody else. It's here because it's that gift. It's a gift for you, and so that gift should be enjoyed by you too, and serve you in your life. So definitely, when I hear women talking about multitasking and doing all the things, I'm like, all right, sis, but don't let it
Give
burn
me a
you
second.
out, because we need your light.
1 second, okay?
We need you all the way lit. That's all. So yes,
I
make
know.
sure you have those who are pouring in as well, and that you pause and pour and allow yourself to recharge. And I know that baby's getting anxious. So one very final question for you. Collaboration. Dream collaboration. Who's it with? What will y'all do together?
I don't know. I don't think I have a dream collaboration.
Ooh. So you got something to think about.
I do. I have been working. Well, maybe the dream collaboration would be narrowing down my niche. Because right now I kind of help everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, artists and other makers and stuff like that. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
like a specific group that I target. And so I'm thinking maybe once I niche down, I'll I'll be able to make a bigger impact. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, touching on the markets and
Mm-hmm.
a little splash. But maybe if I niche down and work with people in a particular area or industry,
Mm-hmm.
then I can make a bigger footprint and really make my mark. In the
And what will be fun? As you think about your dream, what will be the most fun?
right.
I think
And
sometimes
I
we
kind of like it all, though. It's so
well,
hard
that's awesome
because
that
I
you
get to
are
be so
enjoying
creative
it.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like different levels. Like one of my friends had reached out to me, and her dad has a trucking company, and I was like, a trucking company? I don't think I've done a logo about that. And he wanted a pit bull pulling a tractor trailer, and I was like, what am I about to do with this? But I came up
Uh-huh.
with something, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, you enjoy that challenge of, a new thing, and it stays fresh. No, that's dope.
And then
That's
seeing it kind of
awesome.
come to life. Like we hadn't really did food truck designs, and we have another
Mm-hmm.
client that we helped them develop their sauce label and their website and everything like that. And we did their food truck, and so it was we hadn't did that before, but here we are designing food trucks.
Yeah.
So it's different things that I really enjoy the challenge, I would say. And
Yeah.
so I feel like niching down, it feels like I might get maybe bored. I don't know, but I know that I should probably niche down. So that
Yeah.
whoever
And
niche
that's
down
a
is the
big
dream
marketing
client.
thing. That's a big marketing thing, that niching piece, because you can't, because it's hard to talk to who you're talking to when you're talking to everybody.
Yes.
So, like if you're clear on who you're talking to, then like there's just so much clarity that comes with doing that, right? Somebody's getting the mama side eye. She like, yeah, mm-hmm.
She started coughing, so I was just making sure she could.
Oh, okay. That's the concern side eye. I thought it
Oh
was the
yeah,
mama
yeah.
side eye. But yeah, no, when we get clear on who we're talking to, it is actually very helpful. We often think of it as like it's going to be restrictive and limiting, but I think it actually is very freeing in a way. If you love that marketing, like what the opportunities are that exist in it, then you can like free yourself of like feeling like you have to be everything for everybody.
Yeah. I have a friend that did that. Like he kind of worked with other businesses and stuff like that. And then he niched down and he mainly works with authors, speakers, and
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
great. And he's so great that he ended up he's like now just like a graphic design coach. So like he coaches like
Oh, wow.
our little network of other graphic designers on how to be as successful as he was and everything, and to
Wow.
niche down and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, I know it takes some time, and there is some like, honestly, fear of loss. There's fear of lack, but like reminding ourselves that there actually is no lack. There's only abundance. So if you decide that it's just this group, there is plenty in that group. You do your homework, you do your research, and trust your gut on it somewhat too. So I will be interested to see what sort of which way the wind blows you. I'm not gonna ask now because I don't want you to feel like you'll have to. I was gonna ask like, well, what was the most fun project you did? But I'm not even gonna ask you that because I don't want you to feel like you're shutting out somebody by answering a question like that. But there are clues in the things that we have fun with for sure.
Very much so. I mean, I guess I don't want to use the word fun, but maybe rewarding has been like the
Mm-hmm.
food. I think
The
seeing
food industry.
yeah, because it's not only are they visually eye catching as far as like coming up with the labels and menus and stuff like that, but then hopefully it all tastes good too.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so like working with Gemma and then the other food people was Lady J sauce.
Okay.
They're I think in Atlanta, and
Okay.
I love the story behind it. Like it's a family owned business. The grandma was cooking up a storm, and they created like a sauce. And since then, the grandmother has passed, but they kind of
Hmm.
on the recipe and the legacy, and like they've
Oh,
won food
wow.
competitions, and then they got that. So that's been like seeing that has been really good. But then even the work that I do with my job, like for
Hmm.
advocacy, has been really rewarding. Like I've won awards from there. Like I had a billboard in Times Square and down in DC,
Wow.
and
Okay.
um, like
Yeah.
Pharrell held up one of the signs I created. Like all of that, like actually
Yeah.
seeing people interact with the stuff that I've created is where I find the most joy. Which is why I think it's hard to narrow it down because
Yeah.
that could literally be anything. A book that I created a cover for, or a CD or something like that. So that's why it's so hard to like niche down, but I'm gonna get there.
Well, thank you so much. Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on all the things, mainly Facebook and Instagram, but we also have a website, and it's all Pinch Design Co. PINCH Design and then CO. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Chardee. We appreciate your time, your brilliance, and your answers to the members' questions. So definitely reach out to Chardee for your design needs because right now she's servicing everybody. But one of these days she's going to niche it down. So you better get with her while the getting's good. So
No, come on.
thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. You have a good one.